There's a certain type of person who walks through life like they're misaligned, not broken, not weird, just strangely out of sync with the world around them. They're the ones who sit in a crowded room and suddenly feel like an observer instead of a participant. The ones who smile, nod, blend in, but deep down feel like they're living in a place that wasn't built for them. And here's the twist nobody tells them. You're not out of place because something is wrong with you. You're out of place because your mind works on a frequency most people never tune into. Let's talk about the psychology behind that, because once you understand it, your whole life starts making a lot more sense. You ever catch yourself thinking, I don't belong here at all? Not in a dramatic way, just in that quiet, unsettling, I'm different and I don't know why way. Yeah, that's more common and more psychological than you think. People who feel out of place aren't lost. They're usually hyper-aware, emotionally intelligent, deeply intuitive, or carrying a history that rewired how they move through the world. Let's break this down layer by layer. Why you feel this way, what it actually means, and how to navigate a world that often feels like it's running on the wrong operating system. 1. You observe before you participate. Most people react first. You analyze. You walk into a room and your brain quietly scans everything. The tone, the energy, the people, the micro-expressions, the unspoken tension. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Your nervous system learned, somewhere in your past, that watching first is safer than jumping in. Maybe you grew up around unpredictable adults. Maybe you never felt socially mirrored. Maybe you just became hyper-attuned to other people because your environment demanded it. Either way, you became an observer, and observers always feel a little out of place because everyone else seems effortlessly immersed in a world you're busy analyzing. 2. You think deeply in a surface-level world. Let's just be honest. Most conversations feel thin. A lot of people talk just to talk. They fill the silence with noise because silence makes them uncomfortable. But your mind, it doesn't do shallow. You overthink, but in a way that's actually insightful. You ask questions that stop people mid-sentence. You see patterns they shrug off. You feel things before you can explain them. And that intensity can make you feel alien, because the world isn't built for people who think deeply. It's built for people who fit in easily. So you try to tone yourself down. You simplify your thoughts, you play along, but it never feels natural. And that's because your brain is wired for depth in a culture addicted to distraction. 3. You're emotionally aware in a society that numbs. Here's one of the biggest reasons people feel out of place. You can't numb the way everyone else seems to. Humor doesn't always distract you, parties don't always excite you, drama doesn't entertain you, and pretending doesn't feel right. You feel things fully, even the ugly ones. In psychology, this is called high emotional granularity, meaning you can sense subtle emotional shifts most people can't even name. It's powerful but isolating, because when you're surrounded by people who suppress everything, your clarity becomes uncomfortable. Not for you, for them. So they say you're too sensitive, too intense, or hard to read. Translation: you're aware in a world that avoids its own feelings. 4. You mask. Without realizing it, a lot of people who feel out of place learned how to blend in extremely well. You study social patterns, you mirror what's acceptable, you say what's expected, you adjust your energy depending on who's in the room. On the outside, you look social, functional, even confident, but inside, you're performing. Not in a fake way, just in a this is the only way to survive here way. Masking becomes so automatic that you forget what your unfiltered personality even feels like. And over time, that creates a quiet identity conflict. Who am I when I'm not trying to fit a space that never fit me? It's a heavy question, but if you've ever felt it, that's why you feel out of place. 5. You don't chase belonging. You crave authenticity. Here's something people rarely admit. Many people don't want real connection. They want comfort, predictability, familiarity. You want truth. You want people who actually see you, people who think with you, not at you, people who match your emotional depth, not drain it. And until you find those people, every space feels temporary. You're not out of place because you don't belong anywhere. You're out of place because you haven't found your environment yet. People like you don't blend, you resonate. 6. Your mind works on long-term meaning. This is huge. Most people chase short-term satisfaction. You chase purpose. You don't want fun. You want alignment. You want connection that feels real. You want environments that don't feel chaotic. You want peace without performing for it. And the world doesn't reward that mindset. It rewards speed, noise, and conformity. So you feel out of place because your internal pace doesn't match the external world. But here's the secret. Nothing is wrong with your pace. It's just different from the chaos around you. 7. Trauma shifts how you experience belonging. Let's be honest, some of this comes from your past. Growing up around instability, manipulation, or emotional neglect rewires how you see yourself in groups. You learned that belonging isn't safe. Visibility is dangerous. Emotional needs are burdens. So now you walk through life with a quiet, "I don't fit here" filter. Even when you actually do. It's not a flaw, it's a trauma adaptation, and it's completely reversible once you understand it. 8. You care about things other people never notice. This is the part nobody talks about. People who feel out of place often carry a type of awareness that's heavier. You notice energy shifts, broken boundaries, silent disappointments, the tone behind words, the things people say with their eyes, the pain they hide behind a laugh. Most people never catch these things. You catch all of them. And honestly, that can make the world overwhelming. But it's also a sign of a deeply attuned nervous system, not a flawed one. 9. You're meant for smaller circles. Here's the truth I think you've always felt. You don't fit everywhere because you're not meant to. You're not built for crowds. You're built for depth. You don't need 20 friends. You need 2 real ones, maybe 1. People like you attract connection slowly but intensely. You're someone who's understood by a few, misread by many, and that's okay. Rarity always feels out of place at first. 10. How to live when you always feel out of place. Let's ground this in something practical. Here's what helps. 1. Stop forcing yourself into environments that drain you. Your nervous system isn't built for constant noise. 2. Create spaces that match your depth. Silence, art, learning, meaningful conversations. 3. Don't shrink to match shallow spaces. If you feel too much, you're in the wrong room. 4. Honor who you are socially. You're not antisocial, you're selective. 5. Find people who think and feel like you. Quality over quantity, always. 6. Let yourself unmask around people who earn it. Slowly, gently, safely. Remind yourself you're not behind, you're just different. And different often means advanced, not broken. You've spent years thinking something was wrong with you. Too quiet, too intense, too observant, too emotional, too different. But the truth is way simpler. You're not out of place. You're just not in the right place yet. People like you always feel other until they find the spaces that match their depth. And once you do, it changes everything. Because you finally realize you were never the problem. You were the pattern break.